आपको अपडेट करते चलें कि पाकिस्तान ने अहदा के रुकन ममालिक से हंगामी मदद की अपील कर दी है। वज़ीर खारजा बिलावल भुट्टो जरदारी इस वक्त अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा के रुकन ममालिक से खिताब कर रहे हैं और उन्होंने यही कहा है कि आलमी माहौलियाती तब्दीली पाकिस्तान पर असरअंदाज है। सिंध में गर्मी के टेम्परेचर 53 डिग्री तक गिर गया है।
The relentless impact of epochal levels of rain and flooding. The climate catastrophe has killed more than 1,000 people, with many more injured. Millions are homeless, schools and health facilities have been destroyed, livelihoods are shattered, critical infrastructure wiped out, and people's hopes and dreams have washed away. Every province of the country has been affected. In my prior position as High Commissioner for Refugees, I witnessed the enormous giving spirit of the Pakistani people, welcoming and protecting millions of Afghan refugees, and in many cases, sharing their limited resources. It breaks my heart to see these generous people suffering so much. In response to the devastation, the government of Pakistan has released funds, including immediate cash relief. But the scale of needs is rising like the floodwaters, and it requires the world's collective and prioritized attention. The United Nations is issuing a flash appeal for $160 million to support the response led by the government of Pakistan. These funds will provide 5.2 million people with food, water, sanitation, emergency education, protection and health support. Dear friends, South Asia is one of the world's global climate crisis hotspots. People living in these hotspots are 15 times more likely to die from climate impacts. As we continue to see more and more extreme weather events around the world, it is outrageous that climate action is being put on the back burner as global emissions of greenhouse gases are still rising, putting all of us, everywhere, in growing danger. The government of Pakistan has asked for the international community's help. Let us work together to respond quickly and collaboratively to this colossal crisis. Let us all step up in solidarity and support to the people of Pakistan in their hour of need. Let's stop sleepwalking towards the destruction of our planet by climate change. Today, it is Pakistan. Tomorrow, it could be your country. Thank you.
I would now like to invite the Minister for Planning, Development and Special Initiatives, Mr. Ahsan Iqbal, for his remarks. He is the chairperson of the Relief Coordination Committee established by the Prime Minister of Pakistan in the wake of the recent devastating floods. Over to you, sir.
Honorable Foreign Minister, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Chairman NDMA, distinguished delegates, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I would like on my own behalf and on behalf of the people of Pakistan, the international community and the development partners for the concern and support they have always extended and for their involvement in assisting Pakistan during present times of need. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, Pakistan is currently facing the horrors of climate change with unprecedented, devastating flash floods and hill torrents, which have washed away roads, homes, and crops and communities, leaving a trail of deadly havoc across Pakistan. The damage is of unimaginable proportions. More than 1,100 people have died since the monsoon season began in June this year. Literally 1/3 of Pakistan is underwater, which has exceeded every boundary, every norm we have seen in the past. Initial estimates suggest that more than 33 million people have been affected by the historic flooding. Heavy waters in the country have swept away bridges and roads, schools and hospitals, railway tracks, critical telecommunication infrastructure, cutting off communities. Thousands of people living in the mountainous areas have been evacuated, but authorities are still struggling to reach those who are trapped. Those who managed to escape have been crowded into one of the many makeshift camps across the country. Almost half of the country's cotton crop has been washed away, and vegetable, fruit, and rice fields have sustained significant damage, posing serious challenges to the food security. There is growing concern about the looming cost of building back from this disaster, as the preliminary estimates are higher than $10 billion. The government is looking forward for assistance from aid agencies, friendly countries, and international donors. Ladies and gentlemen, the Government of Pakistan's strategy for tackling the flood-affected areas is three-pronged: rescue and relief, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. The UN, due to its vast experience in emergency response, is leading the relief phase in consultation with NDMA and provincial governments. UN Humanitarian Coordinator has initiated the process of triggering a UN flash appeal, which we believe will go a long way in accelerating our effort to take care of the relief phase in shortest possible time. We are very grateful to the UN resident country coordinator who has extensively traveled through these areas and has extended full support in making this flash appeal possible in shortest time. For the rehabilitation and reconstruction phase, the World Bank is preparing to undertake a World Bank and Asian Development Bank are preparing to undertake a damage needs assessment study. This is a time-consuming exercise, and the results shall be shared with the donor community in due course of time. As said earlier, the magnitude of the crisis is increasing with the passage of time. Accordingly, the Government of Pakistan would like to seek the support from the donor community, both for the ongoing relief efforts and for the rebuilding process. Pakistan looks forward to a positive and visible response from the international community in this regard. And may I also say that Pakistan has also initiated an initiative for building a resilient infrastructure to face the challenges of climate change at UN level platform. And we do hope that international community will realize that this is, as the Secretary General said, that this is Pakistan today, it can be any other country tomorrow. We all have to join hands in order to fight the effects of climate change and make world a safer place for everyone living on this planet. Thank you very much.
I thank you, sir. I now invite the UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator in Pakistan, Mr. Julian Harnais, to please share his views with us.
Thank you. Foreign Minister, Minister Panning, Madam Minister, Chairman NDMA, Ministers, Chief Minister, Ambassadors, friends. Like many of you, Foreign Minister, Chief Minister of Sindh, Chairman, I spent the last week in the districts of Pakistan, Baluchistan and Sindh. The scale of the catastrophe is beyond my comprehension. We were going through kilometre after kilometre through central Sindh, where all you could see was villages on the move. I literally saw tens of thousands of people just packing up what little they have, throwing it into trucks or just parking it by the side of the road, and trying to find a dry place to put their village. Piles of charpoys, mattresses in the rain, thousands of people, parents, children, just looking around and going, what happens now? How am I going to protect my child from getting sick? What am I going to eat? Where am I find water? Where will I sleep tonight? And this all across Sindh and much of Baluchistan. And their hands were stretched out, asking for help. Our help, your help. Now's our time. This is all the result of climate change. Now, climate change is a polite way of saying the unwanted consequence of the industrialization of our planet. This is an internationally driven problem, and therefore it is only right that part of the solution comes from us. I also saw good things. I saw the government out there. I saw deputy commissioners pulling together their people across the ministers out in their constituencies, doing everything they could to bring together their people. The first distributions of bits, people receiving their little messages saying that, come in for the assistance. These are all good things. Most touchingly of all was the generosity of the people of Pakistan at all levels, be it rich, poor. They were all reaching into their pocket, giving out to those of their fellow citizens who needed most, and we need to do the same. So now's the time for the international community to step up next to the people of Pakistan. Climate change-driven catastrophe demands international solidarity. The United Nations funds and programs, well, we started responding, so have the non-governmental organizations, both national and international. But we are limited by the financial resources available to us. This flash appeal will help to correct that. The flash appeal will build upon solid foundations. Since the last superfloods of 2010, which were not of the scale of this one, the government, with your support, has built strong foundations. The Benazir Income Support Programme, at a press of a button, can distribute money to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. That didn't exist back then. We've strengthened National Disaster Management Aid Authority and the PDMAs and the DDMAs across the country. There's a network of humanitarian response facilities that can be used to build a strong response. That didn't exist in 2010. So we're building upon strong foundations. Our international humanitarian appeal for the United Nations and non-governmental organizations will build upon that strong foundation. We will contribute to the work of the government, and our assistance will be under the guidance and the cooperation of the National Disaster Management Authority and the Provincial Disaster Management Authorities. I'm very grateful to the assistance of member states and even private citizens in developed countries who've given for this response. Thank you. I'm asking you to do more because it's the right thing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harnais. I now request the Chairman of the National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA, Lieutenant General Akhtar Nawaz, to give us an overview of the flood situation in the country. Please, sir.
Honorable Foreign Minister, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. The presentation that I'm going to make is based on a PowerPoint. It's more technical in nature to make you understand the impact, the losses, and what are, the needs. I would draw your attention to the very first page of the presentation, which actually sets stay on to previous one, which actually, talks about the climate change and ultimately, its outcome. Next, please. If you look at this slide, we lost this spring this year, 2022. We moved directly from winter to the summers. That was followed by 4 heat waves, and where we faced forest fires, and our large tracts of the forest remained on fire for weeks. We were following the drought warnings, and this is exactly where the United Nations community here in Pakistan, along with NDMA and all other stakeholders, started talking about and worrying about what is going to come as an outcome of this drought. But then came, what we faced, the early and unprecedented monsoon with very horrific consequences. Next, please. What we had thought about, our meteorological department, they thought that this time, based on their assessment and studies, the monsoon rains are going to be slightly above normal. And once they said slightly above normal, it meant 25 to 30% above normal. Next, please. Based on, this assessment, through the effort with our all stakeholders, that is the provincial disaster management authorities, the federal agencies, the UN offices and systems here, the humanitarian organizations, we carved out a contingency plan for the monsoon 2022 and issued this plan on 12th of May. This was immediately followed by an exercise, simulation exercise, jointly conducted by United Nations and the National Disaster Management Authority, where all the stakeholders relevant to the disaster management participated overwhelmingly. Next, please. Coming on to what happened after having gone through, the estimates that we had forecasted. Contrarily, this is what we got. Overall, in Pakistan, 186% more rainfall compared to 30 years normal average. The Sindh got the highest, 466%, followed by the Balochistan. Even all other provinces and regions are also above the normal average of 30 years. Next, please. This is a very instructive slide, and I would like to explain it in a bit more detail. Our traditional monsoon areas lie in the north of the country. These are into the Azad Jammu and Kashmir, northern and central parts of Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, eastern portions of Balochistan, and the northern parts of Sindh. This time, instead of going to the traditional areas, the monsoon actually first hit us in the first two spells into the province of Balochistan and South Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, including the two districts of Diyai Khan and Tank, followed by a massive, build-up of the rain in the next three spells into Sindh, and then moving up north, the last spell towards northern part, including, Azad Kashmir, KP, northern Punjab, and Gilgit-Baltistan. If you look at, this slide, this explains how much the rainwater has come down from the skies directly into various areas, coupled with the flash floods, hill torrents, leading to urban flooding. This is something we had never thought of and we had never experienced, and that is where, the challenge lies. Next, please. Yeah. As an outcome of all this rainfall and what we got as an outcome of the climate change, today 72 of our districts, 221 of our tehsils, and 6,597 of the union councils have been formally declared as the calamity hit by the provincial governments. And the number is likely to increase as we speak because the calamity continues. Next. I will just draw your attention to these couple of slides from the SUPACO, our satellite producing agency. If you look at the left cut, it is of 11th of August. And if you look at it over here, it is of 23rd of August. Draw the comparison how this was on 11th and how this is. This all indicates the total inundation. Next, please. If you look at the second one, this is where the river Indus moves, and this is the Larkana. The complete district has been inundated. Next. If we talk of the numbers, more than 2 million acres of the agriculture land, 33 million population, 5,127 people rescued, and the persons in the camps are near 500,000. Next, please. The brunt, the casualties in terms of the deaths as well as in terms of injuries, the figure has crossed 1,100 in case of deaths and 1,600 in case of injuries. The brunt has been borne by the vulnerable, that is the women, children and the elderly. This is likely to increase due to massive inundation where the houses are coming down and people are still facing the challenges to the survival and life. Next, please. If you look at this slide, this speaks of, the infrastructural damages and also the loss of livestock. The most critical out of these are the bridges on our critical arteries and roads, the damages to the houses in a very, very large number, and this is unfortunately likely to increase. And also the loss, massive loss of the livestock. Next, please. Once we speak, our two major water retaining structures, that is the Tarbela Dam and Mangla Dam. The Tarbela Dam has gone to its full capacity, whereas Mangla Dam, which used to be filled by this time, is still vacant by around 53%. And the reason is that its catchment areas, traditional monsoon areas, didn't receive the rainfall. Next, please. As we speak, this is what is the condition of our various rivers running down from north to the south. We are still having, high floods, medium floods in certain, and a very high flood at Nowshera. But however, the situation is not very, it's under control. There is nothing to worry much at the moment. We are grappling with this situation that is being faced here. Next, please. I'll just, show you some of the videos, very selected one, to just highlight how difficult and, tough it was. Can we have the video? This is from the lower Deel, and you will see how the our communication infrastructure is being washed away. This one from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Next, please. This one is again, one of the earthworks that got washed away. Next one, you will see how the infrastructure, the buildings have been washed away. Yes. Next. Can we go to this one? This is Azad Jammu and Kashmir. And the Balochistan, the Bolan area, this one in the Lasbela near Karachi, a part of Tonsa Beran, Next, please. If you look at, the complex of the houses, this is how thousands of houses and complexes are inundated in the province of Sindh as well as in Balochistan. If you look at, this is the Lasbela, how the people are, finding the safety wading through the gushing water. This is where the people are being helped out to the safety. Next. As we speak, the people are being, taken out from the inundated areas. This is what, was in the Karachi area. Look at, the people really stranded in the mid of, these running streams. Next. This is what is, the condition as we pull them out, put them to some kind of temporary shelters. If you look at, the infrastructure, the massive damage to the critical infrastructure all across the country. This is where, the vulnerable group that I was talking about, stays. Next. This is a very critical, the infrastructure that we are losing, and this is the extent of the damage. It will take a lot of time and massive, finances to rebuild. Next, please. Coming on to, the response by the federal government, the provincial governments, rescue relief by civil administration, disaster management authorities, duly supported by the armed forces, even the civil society, the humanitarian organization, continues as we speak. A committee has been established at the federal level, which is headed by Mr. Ahsan Iqbal, chairman of the committee. He's the Minister for Planning and Development. There are a couple of other ministers who are guiding and coordinating the rescue and relief effort. The emergency has been declared at the national level. Army has been requisitioned to carry out, the relief and rescue operations in support of the Disaster Management Agency. There has been an enhancement of the compensation package. I'll not go into the detail. That has already been partly covered. Next. Benazir Income Support Program, one of, the best social protection program, is already, rolling out at a very fast speed into all provinces. NDMA carried out a rapid need assessment and shared this one with our Ministry of EAD so as to, share it with the donors, and that has already been done, and they're working fast pace on it. There was a donor conference, a number of them actually, in the Ministry of EAD, as well as, headed by the Prime Minister. A giant survey by the provincial disaster management authorities, duly supported and assisted by NDMA and the Army, has already taken off in the province of Balochistan, and it will go on to the other provinces as well. Next, please. Coming on to the relief assistance, so far the relief assistance that has already reached to the flood affectees is as flashed. As we speak, more and more is pouring in because the need is so high, and it is so deficient, so less for us to give them the requisite the relief effort. Next, please. As we speak, the rescue and relief continues. The people are being pulled out, provided with the medical facilities, with the shelter. Next. Humanitarian organizations are also moving in and trying to help out. Next. If you look at these pictures, there are so many humanitarian organizations at their own that they are moving in, being coordinated by provincial disaster management authorities at province, as well as district, as well as the National Disaster Management Authority at the national level. Next. Wherever it is we find some space, the tent villages are being set up, the medical is being afforded, and also the food parcels are being distributed. Next. Next, please. Still, the people are being, brought to the safety using all kind of expedients, boats, etc. Next. As we speak, we have, massive effort of the aerial lift capability. The Pakistan Air Force, Pakistan Army, Navy have put, their all aircrafts available to do the rescue and relief operations. Next. Coming on to the last slide, what is, the immediate and critical need? Already the earlier speakers have mentioned about it. These include the shelters and tents, food security, including the nutrition for the children and for lactating women, health support, water and sanitation, support for the livestock, and of course, once we move out of it, reconstruction and rehabilitation. I thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for patient hearing.
Thank you very much, sir. I would now like to hand over the floor to Mr. Ramesh Rajasingham, the head and representative of the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs in Geneva and the director of the Coordination Division of OCHA. He will now conduct the proceedings in Geneva.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished delegates and colleagues, we have just heard from our distinguished speakers from Islamabad on the enormous impact of floods and the priority needs and in response to the requirements of the Pakistan flood response plan. Here in Geneva, I am joined on the podium by His Excellency Ambassador Khalil Hashmi, Permanent Representative of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan to the United Nations Office and other international organizations in Geneva, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Mr. Filippo Grandi, the Under-Secretary General for National Society Development and Operations Coordination of the International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, Mr. Javier Castellanos Mosquera. And in this room, we have with us also representatives of member states and partner agencies and organizations who will have a chance to contribute to our discussions if they so wish to do so. I would now like to hand the floor to His Excellency Ambassador Khalil Hashmi.
Thank you, Ramesh. Honorable Foreign Minister,
Minister of Planning and Minister of State Foreign Affairs of Pakistan, Chairman National Disaster Management Authority Pakistan, Mr. Julian Harness, UN Coordinator, the UN Resident Coordinator in Islamabad, High Commissioner Filippo Grandi here in Geneva, Under Secretary General for IFRC, Director OCHA, Ramesh, thank you so much. I want to begin by thanking you all here in Geneva for making the time and for attending this briefing. On behalf of the Pakistan Mission in Geneva, I would like to echo our gratitude to the UN country team in Islamabad and OCHA office in Geneva. Thank you so much for all your support in putting this briefing together. We've just heard the overview of the unprecedented calamity and catastrophe, its human impact, the damage and needs assessment. And as the Secretary General said, Pakistan has had the monsoon on steroids. So I wouldn't want to go into those details. I just wanted to make a few points. From Geneva's vantage point, all that we work on a daily basis here has been deeply affected in Pakistan, ranging from people's access to food, safe housing, work, education, telecommunications infrastructure, the environment, and human displacement on a massive scale. What has happened is more than just a humanitarian crisis, and today's appeal in many ways is a call to action. Just in the past few years, floods have hit almost all regions globally, from floods in Germany and Belgium in the same time period last year to the recent floods in Sudan, Australia and the United States, all of which have claimed precious human lives and caused extensive damage. In almost all these cases, these extreme floods have been preceded by extreme heat waves. The pattern is clear here. The scientific evidence points to one fact, that climate change has exacerbated these extreme weather events. The rains in Pakistan this year have been around 90% heavier than the average downpour. Developing countries have been trying to balance their climate commitments and development needs for a long time now. However, one such calamity erodes years of work. Our common future will be determined by what we do. It is clear that none of us can afford to delay actions that are critical to our survival or wait until disasters arrive at our doorsteps. An early and meaningful action, collective action on climate change is therefore indispensable. In terms of the appeal and follow-up, Pakistan Mission in Geneva remains at your disposal for any additional information or clarification. I want to once again thank you all for your presence here today. Over to you, Ramesh.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Hashmi, for your remarks. Allow me to now invite UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Mr. Filippo Grandi, for his remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramesh. Honorable Ministers, Resident Coordinator, Ambassador Dia Khalil, colleagues, thank you very much for convening this urgent meeting, urgent in so many ways, as we have heard, to draw the world's attention to the plight of millions of lives devastated, as we have seen, by these catastrophic floods. And our solidarity and condolences go to all those affected and to the government and the people of Pakistan. Today, the international community, including my own organization, must respond generously to the appeal of the government of Pakistan and help the people in need. We urgently need more global and concrete support for Pakistan and its people. Like our sister United Nations agencies and other humanitarian organizations, UNHCR is participating in the relief efforts as part of a collective response to support the authorities to provide assistance to more than 30 million people who have been affected, including the hundreds of thousands who have been displaced by floods, as we saw in the chilling statistics presented by the National Disaster Management Authority. Those affected, by the way, include also many of the approximately 3 million registered Afghan refugees and other Afghan people that Pakistan has hosted generously for many decades. Under the leadership of the government, UNHCR has already provided more than 71,000 emergency relief items in the worst hit areas of Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa provinces, and redirected supplies to respond to the government's urgent appeal for more assistance. And to mitigate the ongoing effects of this climate emergency, and once again alongside with many other agencies, we have delivered supplies to help households build up defenses around their homes. And this assistance has helped villages, Pakistani villages, refugee villages, in mitigating the effects. But much more, of course, is needed. And I would like to join previous speakers in encouraging all donors here today to fund the flash appeal and the UN's ongoing programs in the country, and to help the government and the people of Pakistan as they respond and rebuild. And I hope and trust, like the Secretary General said and like Ambassador Hashmi just said, that this terrible tragedy will also be an opportunity to accelerate the increasingly urgent measures that we must take, at least to mitigate the effects of the climate emergency globally, including, as we witness in Pakistan today, tragically, widespread loss of lives, livelihoods, property and infrastructure, and large forced human displacement. We have said it so many times, dear friends, we're running out of time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Grandi, for your remarks. And allow me now to invite Under Secretary General of the IFRC, Mr. Javier Castellanos Mosquera, to present his remarks.
Thank you very much, honorable ministers, your excellencies, Mr. Ambassador, and members of the table here present.
पाकिस्तान ने अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा के रुकन ममालिक से हंगामी मदद की अपील कर दी है। वज़ीर ख़ारजा बिलावल भुट्टो ज़रदारी अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा के रुकन ममालिक से इस वक्त खिताब कर रहे हैं।